The next question, we will start with Jamie, and then we will go to Beth, and then Ron. The next question is, regarding the new transgender law with the passing of this proposition, what is your opinion on this law and how would you implement it?
Okay, I completely disagree with this law. I signed a petition against this law, which would put this on the ballot to let voters decide, but unfortunately it fell short of the required signatures. I believe that students should use the restroom and locker rooms according to the sex that God made them. Boys shouldn't be allowed to play on girls' sports teams, and girls shouldn't be allowed to play on boys' sports teams. If the district is forced to comply with this law, the district must provide a separate single restroom changing area for those specific students. By providing this, the district will not infringe upon the vast majority of other students, which seems to always get lost in the frenzy of political correctness.
Ditto, ditto, ditto. I feel the same way. And of course, I'm from the old school. But I do realize that I think there has been a girl wrestler on the wrestling team in this past few years. I don't know about girls football, but I know in other areas the youth football do have girls. I don't mind that as long as there is a place for the girls to be by themselves and not with the boys. So that's my main thing. Thank you.
As an elected school board member, this is a nonpartisan office, it would not be my place to even have an opinion on a political issue. I have an opinion, and while I agree with what some of the things that have been stated up here, it would be my duty to implement the law the laws of California, not have an opinion on them, unfortunately. AB 1266 is the law of California, and California Interscholastic Federation has issued new bylaws that reflect that change. So the question is how best to implement it. I've been doing some research into what other school districts are doing, and the California School Board Association recommends that we handle each request on a case-by-case basis so that the unique needs of each student can be met. And I believe that is what it ultimately comes down to, meeting the needs of our students, all of our students, in the best way that we can. And if that means providing one student a special bathroom, I don't believe they should be showering together or changing together. No, that would not be right. But if we need to put in a closed bathroom, then that's what we need to do. I also believe that we should offer some professional development and forums for students in the community to encourage understanding of gender identity and gender-related issues, to stop any bullying before it starts. This is going to be a delicate issue, I think, for everybody, and I think we need to stop the bullying before it starts. Thank you.
Question number 3, and we will start with you, Beth. What is your opinion of charter schools and alternatives to public education, homeschooling, etc.?
I am definitely for charter schools, alternative. There's some students that cannot handle a class of 35 or more. They need that one-on-one. And they'll just cause problems if they're in a big class. So I feel that it is good that we have had this opportunity. I know Castle Rock has been very active, and Uncharted Shores and all the others, and I am definitely for it. Some just need that quiet learning experience, and it's easier for them and easier for everybody in concern. So, thank you.
If elected, it would be my responsibility and fiduciary obligation to protect the best interest of the public institution and constituency that I'm elected to represent. That means at all times working to make public education the best education available to our students and our community. I believe wholeheartedly in the free public education system that the California state constitution allows for. That is what I will work for to make it the best it can be. That said, I do believe that alternative means of education for some students is necessary. My students had some special needs, and so alternative means of educating those types of students is necessary. We need to make those types of education more available and easily accessible through the public education system. It was difficult to access accommodations my son required through the current system. I believe with the local control accountability plan we can make the changes and make these items more accessible, but it will take all of us working together to make it happen. Thank you.
I believe it's a parent's choice whether to send their children to public school, charter school, or homeschool. As long as the charter school and homeschool students are meeting the minimum educational requirements, these options should always be available. I completely understand why some parents choose an alternative to public education. The transgender law and Common Core are a perfect example of reasons parents might choose something other than a public school. Unfortunately, the government, state and federal, keep mandating laws and regulations into the public education and withholding funds until the school district institutes them. I personally send my children to public schools not only because they are both very active in school sports, but I feel that social skills that they learn in a public setting and will use for the rest of their lives are just as important as a good education.
Thank you. We'll start off with question number 3. We'll start. Question 4, excuse me. California has recently adopted Common Core as our educational standard. There are several states that are currently withdrawing from Common Core in addition to those that didn't adopt the standards originally. What is your opinion on Common Core, and do you believe Del Norte Unified School District should adhere to Common Core or adopt a higher standard?
Well, when I decided to run for school board trustee, I knew that I would need to learn a lot. I didn't realize quite how much research I would have to do in the first few weeks, so I'm learning a lot about Common Core and curriculum. There are a lot of myths surrounding Common Core state standards. They were originally started as states working together to create higher standards for students and to create standards that were the same for all standards across the nation. So when a student moves to Del Norte County from Chicago or even Europe, we could use the same benchmarks to compare them. States would have, this was completely voluntary, states could opt in or opt out. They all decided to raise the standards so that no state would be required to lower standards at all. So they came up with standards that were higher than the base. They worked with teachers and the newest research into education to come up with standards, not curriculum, benchmarks, and landings on their steps of progress to get to graduation. Each school district can use whatever curriculum and teaching methods they deem best to reach those standards. California has opted in to the Common Core state standards, and we need to work with the staff and other stakeholders, that's you, to find the best curriculum to meet the benchmarks that California sets for our students, whether they be Common Core state standards or some set of higher standards. I think standardized testing is difficult for some kids and we need to work with those kids, but I think having higher standards is good and we need to work with our kids to get them to those standards. And getting through the local control accountability plan will get our kids the staff required to get them the help they need to get them to those standards. Thank you.
serious consequences for not only our children's future, but the future of our country. When you lower the educational standards, like Common Core is going to do, to a one-size-fits-all education, to cater to lower student aptitudes instead of having all students rise to a reachable, attainable standard, which will require some determination and effort, we will have completely lost sight of our children's educational needs. Del Norte County and the state of California should not only opt out of Common Core standards, but adopt higher standards for our children's education, and they need to do it immediately.
This is a new program for me, because being out for a few years, we didn't have these things. So I was like Ronnie, I had to do some research too. With this program just starting, all will be working on the same page, working together to sharing goals. Students can make progress each year and prepare to succeed for their future careers. Math and language arts will be the main two academic standards. No more testing to what the teachers were teaching as needed for the year-end testing. And no more 5 days of testing. Students did not work on the testing. They did not do their best. They would go through and do A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D, and do each one as they went. If the students misbehaved in the class, guess where they sent them? To me. And I always had them until the finish of the test. And usually a full house by the end of the day. So they didn't care about the testing. So if this Common Core will work, I am for it. Thank you.
Question number 5, and we'll start with you, Jamie. Last year, school counselors were directed by the district to question students regarding family dynamics, including whether there are guns in the home, adequate nutrition, etc. Parents were unaware of this counseling. What is your opinion of the parents' right to opt out of objectionable curriculum questioning or testing?
As a parent, I believe that we should have the right to opt out of anything regarding what our kids are being taught, tested on, and what questions they are being asked by school counselors. There is absolutely no reason why the school district should ask students whether there are guns present in the home. It is our Second Amendment right to own firearms. If a school district employee suspects any kind of abuse or neglect of a child in their home, they are mandated and morally obligated to contact local law enforcement.
I am very concerned with this that has really happened. I will be doing some research before I can make an opinion on it, one way or another. My question is, who at the district level directed the counselors to question these students and their reasoning why? Thank you.
I, like Jamie, also believe parents should have every right to opt out of whatever curriculum taught in the class.